Hold it with me, bro.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
YBN Cordae has quickly become one of hip-hop's brightest young stars, being named onto the 2019 XXL Freshman list and coming with one of the best freestyles in the cyphers, collabing with Logic, Chance the Rapper and Anderson Paak, and hanging out with legends like Diddy, Dr. Dre and Quincy Jones. The guy's on top of the world. He also has more than 200 million streams on his music, and all of that happened before dropping his official debut album. And life seems to be pretty good for Mr. Cordae. He rapped on Have Mercy that now he rides with a paid chauffeur. On his most recent single with Anderson Paak, he told us he wears Chanel cologne, rocks a Montclair coat, and sits front row at the games. He also rapped, "I'm a young millionaire, what the F can you tell me?" And as a young non-millionaire, not much, but what I can say about Cordae is that he's different from many of the people that we cover on this show because he rarely flexes his money. When he got his first big check from music, he decided to save it rather than buying a new car or a new Rolex. But he does spend some money on a pretty impressive shoe collection, and after some digging, I found out that he spends a lot of money on satchels / fanny packs / backpacks and any other form of wearable wallet. So in honor of his Rich Life video, I'm gonna wear mine throughout the rest of the video. I gotta go get it though. Got it, although mine is probably not as expensive as his. But Cordae's Before They Were Famous video was actually the very first video that I worked on for this channel. I still remember watching all of his interviews to make sure I get all the facts right for his bio. I was sitting at a Starbucks at 6 a.m. before I started my real job at the time to get it done. And if you look back at that video, my humor was drier, my lighting made me look like Casper, and my presentation was below par, to put it nicely. But a lot can change in a year. Just look at Cordae's career. His net worth was listed at around $500K from a few online sources, but I have a feeling that's a low estimate, and after this album, everything is about to change, including his change. What's going on, good people in the comment section? I hope you're having one heck of a day. My name is Jeremy Hecht, here for you on The Rich Life as we take you through the financial come up of YBN Cordae. If you're new here, I'm the LA host for this channel, and if you're a regular, then you already know, and welcome back. We've covered other videos for this channel recently, like Rihanna and Stephen A. Smith, but before we start, I've got a trivia question for you. How did Dr. Dre give Cordae inspiration? All right, now let's get into the show. Cordae Dunstan was born on August 26, 1997, just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, to a mother who was just 16 years old at the time of his birth. Cordae wrote his first raps at just 4 years old, but didn't take it seriously until much later on. The family moved around a couple of times, finally settling in Suitland, Maryland, after his mother got a job with the government. Cordae experienced trailer parks, inner cities, and the suburbs all within his childhood, giving him a diverse perspective on the world.
You can only live so much life, you know, I'm still young, but I've experienced different things, I've witnessed different things. Now, I'm not about to act like, I had to fight, right. Or like I done been through the worst shit, but I done been through life.
It was YouTube's recommended section where a young Cordae really dove into the world of hip hop, finding legends like Big L, and becoming obsessed with the Jay-Z and Nas beef. Finishing high school in Waldorf, Maryland, he recorded his first song under the name of Entendre. His first tape was called Anxiety, later dropping I'm So Anxious and I'm So Anonymous, but rap was still just a dream and not a reality for a career yet, as Cordae headed to Townsend University in Maryland, where he was studying mass communications and working minimum wage jobs as a server. After connecting online, Cordae became close with YBN Namir, and he would stay with him on trips to LA. In my original Before They Were Famous video, I said that Simba was Cordae's friend in the video, but that's actually his blood brother, who is still locked up. Cordae quickly became a member of the YBN crew, and finally he released his first single under the new moniker over Eminem's My Name Is beat, but it was his reply to J. Cole's 1985 that gained him a massive online following. And on the day of this recording, Cordae is dropping his official label debut album, The Lost Boy. So let's get into his financial come up. While his first few music videos did huge numbers on YouTube, none of the videos were actually posted on his own channel. His first few handfuls of videos have combined for over 50 million views, but they're all uploaded onto World Star Hip Hop or Lyrical Lemonade's channels, so he probably didn't see much revenue from his visuals, but his streaming checks are probably pretty big because he's had over 200 million streams in just over a year of posting his music online. And that's only coming from a handful of singles and no project.
Building a legacy, yet I can't name 5 songs of his. Well, Jacob, I don't have 5 songs out, so f you. Who the Twitter name is their first _ last name, my nigga?
I will take a little bit offense to that because, as you can see, my Twitter name is my first _ last name, so Cordae brought in most of his initial revenue from touring though. He went on big tours with some big names like Juice WRLD.
I was on my very first tour ever. The very first tour I ever been on was with Juice WRLD.
Those two are two of the best freestylers in the game, so their tour bus must have been a pretty fun time. Next, he joined in on Logic's Confessions of a Dangerous Mind tour, and most recently he had his own headlining tour called the Lost Boy Tour. Cordae became a youth ambassador for Puma brand, which not only brought him in a check, but also some free Puma gear. He joined artists like Big Sean, Meek Mill, and G-Eazy at the brand. In September, Cordae signed a deal with Atlantic Records, also signing a music publishing deal with Pulse Music Group. For those of you who don't know how label deals work, a lot of the time they give you your advance money up front. The money is to live off of, eat, and is the budget for creating your debut album. So let's say they give you $300K, which is an average advance. That money is like a loan, meaning it has to be paid back to the label eventually, which is usually done through record sales and tour revenue. But what you don't know is that a lot of the rappers who are flexing jewelry and cars actually use their advance check for those purchases and will later owe it back to the label. So being business savvy, Cordae decided from early on that he wasn't going to spend his first big checks on depreciating purchases. Instead, he was going to save it. Cordae told Complex during his sneaker shopping interview that the pressures of flexing is something that you deal with as a rapper. Once you wear one bust down rollie, people are going to be like, oh, you stay wearing that same rollie. But I went against that for real because it's just like when you first get a lump sum of money, that's the first thing you're going to want to do. But I was just like, I'm going to just save this. Cordae said that when he was in college, he was imagining himself wearing Balenciagas and Gucci all the time and with the watches. But when he finally made the money to be able to do so, he said that he would rather save it and spend it on things that matter most. So he doesn't have a flashy chain, watch, or car to show you in this video, but it does seem like the guy absolutely loves satchels. You can call them fanny packs, small backpacks, man purses, shoulder bags. I just like the way satchel sounds, but if you've seen him in any interviews at shows or on Instagram, then you know Cordae has an impressive collection of whatever you call them. So let's go through them. This Louis Vuitton sling goes for up to $1,500 on resale sites. This DR14 backpack / vest called the CT Stealth Rig will run you up to $1,300. And yes, that is the Mona Lisa in the background. And yes, that is also a flex from Mr. Cordae.
I took that picture just because at like moments I was very appreciative because I got the chance to actually go to Paris because niggas was in Paris.
This leather bag vest can cost up to $1,000 at retail price. The District Louis Vuitton over the shoulder bag costs around $1,300. Here he is rocking the Supreme fanny pack and the Louis luggage at the same time. The bags go for around $2,000. There's this brown leather one that I couldn't find the name of, but also looks expensive. And finally, the North Face Supreme Collab fanny pack, which could run you up around $500 on resale. And here he is taking things to the next level with the briefcase. Next level! So as you can see, Cordae loves his packs, and I'm feeling pretty cheap with my pack, even though I love it still. There's also no denying that Cordae is a sneakerhead. From the age of 15, he was already saving up his money for the newest pairs of kicks. He would buy, sell, and trade shoes and put all of his earnings back into studio equipment, eventually selling most of his sneakers to have a full studio for himself. But now that he's able to buy shoes and have studio equipment without having to worry, he has a pretty dope collection. He has the gold Air Max 97s, the Yeezy 700s, and he loves rocking the Jordan 1s in basically all colorways. And here's this incredible combo of the socks and Gucci leather and mesh sandals. Legendary. But he's not willing to drop all of his bands on some new kicks because when he was at Complex's sneaker shopping, he returned a pair of shoes worth $4,000, although he did still spend 3 racks on shoes during that episode, but I commend his purchasing habits. In terms of cars, he isn't afraid to pull up to a McDonald's in a Ferrari, but he also said it was not his and he was only using it for manifesting purposes. But if his track record with manifesting things is any indication of where he'll be in the future, I have a feeling we'll be seeing him in that Ferrari very soon.
I literally put it on my vision board. This time last year, I was like, I'm gonna make a XXL Freshman. Like in 2015, 2016, I was like, yo, 2019 is the year I'm gonna get on XXL Freshman. I always said 2019 was gonna be the year I was gonna get on it.
But he might not even have to drive at all because on Have Mercy, he told us that he drives with a paid chauffeur now. Based on the song R&P, he did decide to buy himself a couple of things. And you know, rappers lie in their lyrics all the time, but I don't take Cordae as the type to flex for no reason, so I'm believing him here. He says he rocks Chanel cologne, which run between $80 and $300. He talked about a Moncler coat, for the times that he was broke, and he's definitely not broke anymore, dropping anywhere between $500 and $1,500 on the jacket, depending on the model. And he's also said that he's sitting front row at the games he attends, which can go upwards of $1,000 per seat, depending on the game. But like I said, for the most part, Cordae keeps his spending pretty reasonable, and he is a great example of how you can focus on the art and still be successful in the internet age. For all of you kids watching out there, take this as a lesson. You don't need the latest jewelry, trends, or the new cars. You can focus on improving yourself as an individual and still making great music, and you can end up on top. Look at Cordae. And it seems like he's far from done, because when he was visiting Dr. Dre's studio, he saw all of his Grammy plaques and was motivated to go harder.
I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna be one of the GOATs.
And there you have the answer to the question from the beginning of the video. I always say that we're all just walking the path that's already been set for us too, so I like the way you worded that. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Cordae, if you're watching this right now, congrats on the album, man. I'm really proud of you, really happy for your success. Follow me on Instagram at Jeremy_Hecht, and be sure to let me know who you want me to cover next in the comments down below. Dream good, live better. I hope you have one heck of a day. If no one has told you yet today, I love you. All right, see you in the next video.